Hello, Internet Magic Man here from MMOBomb.com, bringing you another first look video. This time it's for Phantasy Star Online 2, the North American release. Currently in open beta on the Xbox One, and in the future later this year, as it launches on the Xbox One, also coming to PC. But for now, Xbox One it is, open beta. You can go ahead and get on your Xbox, jump in now. No end date right now for the open beta, so we'll probably just migrate to launch. Now, this is the official North American release, so we're going to spend about 20 or 30 minutes in here just checking the game out, giving you an idea of what you'll be doing, and if you'll enjoy the game or not. Now, it hurts my heart playing on Ship 1, but that's where my character from closed beta was created, due to that being the only ship open initially. You Japanese players or people who've been playing on the Japanese server will know that my heart really wants to be on Ship 2. Now, this is one of those games where there's a lot going on. We're not going to be able to break down every single system and take you through it. I will touch on things, but this is a first look video, giving you the flavor of the game, some of the things that you can do. We may be able to do guides in the future. Certainly, all of you watching this probably know I am a huge fan of the Phantasy Star Online series. Couldn't wait for PSO2 to come west, so you're not going to break my heart if you ask me to make more content for it. I definitely would love to do so, as long as there's an audience to watch that content. Now, we're going to go into creating a character here, and I will skip the cutscene. You guys can watch those when you're actually playing the game here. And I want to talk first about min-maxing, because there's going to be a lot of systems we touch on that I'm just not going to be able to give you in a first look video the detailed walkthrough or guide or recommendation on what to do, like feeding your mag or leveling up certain gear or swapping gear or doing this or doing that. There are a lot of systems. PSO2 is a min-maxer's paradise, and it starts right here at character creation. So you may have to old school it, right? Head on out to the internet and find some guides for a particular thing that you're looking for. If you're a min-maxer, you're going to want to know what class you want to play right off the bat, because your race selection and even your gender selection here can influence those stats. You've got human, Numan, caste, and Dooman, and even within those races, the male-female selection could weigh into certain stats in your character. For instance, humans are well-balanced, pretty good at everything, but human males may have a buff against physical damage and physical buff for attacking, while the females may be more magic-inclined and be able to defend against techniques a little better and use techniques a little better. And that varies across all the classes. Like the caste class, the big kind of robot class, obviously, when it comes to physical damage, these guys are going to be better than, say, the Numan or the human. So these choices can factor into it. Now, it's not huge. Don't worry. I mean, you don't have to be forced into a class you don't want to play, or a race you don't want to play, just because of a particular class you do want to play. But if you are truly absolute min-maxer, this is something to take into consideration. It won't put you at huge disadvantages if you don't select the appropriate race-gender combination for your class. Getting into character creation here, you'll see that we're able to select from 6 classes, and it does let you know in the box that you can change your class later. It's literally like almost immediately later. You'll have to do some introductory quests and things like that to get started and open up the class trainer and things like that. But once you do, maybe an hour or two into gameplay, if that for many of you, you will be able to choose some of the other classes that are available and swap on the fly. Your character, and I'm just going to pick Hunter, for character creation's sake here. Not Hunter in the way World of Warcraft. Hunter here is more close quarters. If you're looking for that ranged fighter, that might be a ranger, which is what I'll be playing for the first look. But as I'm creating here and talking, we'll go through and create a Hunter. We get a number of different preset bodies to choose from, and you can go ahead and just roll with that if you want to. But we also have a ton of customization options. Now, some of these won't be open for particular classes. Like, we're doing a caste, so being a robot, there is no skin color or makeup pattern to do. We can certainly pick a facial variant, And that just looks amazing right there. But there's not going to be any skin tone or anything unless you pick these open-headed versions. So you can open up new versions depending on your class and depending on what variants you pick as we go in there. Seeing custom head parts, you can go ahead and customize, in this case, hair. But notice if we change the face variants to something that's more masky, we don't get the head parts variants. We can't go in and mess with the hair or the hair color. We do have some advanced face customization, a lot shut down if we opt to wear a mask, but again, that opens up if we pick one of the open mask variants or if we're playing one of the other races that doesn't have basically a robot head. We can customize the body, whether that's actual body morphing as far as how we want the overall shape to look, or even the ability to go ahead and mess with the height of our character as well. We get some body, arm, and legs pieces that we can mess with. A lot of customization here. And one thing I will note is that this is not all the customization you have. Part of the endgame for very many players in PSO2 is the fashion show aspect, because there's tons of salon items, cosmetic gear, cosmetic skins. Just, it's all over the place in gameplay as well as the cash shop. So it is just all over the place. You will be customizing your character probably many, many times over the course of playing the game. However, initially, we can do all the customization we want here, and then, once you pick the ones that you like, we can start customizing the attire itself by changing the colors. So if you're going through the pieces of your body, whatever race you choose, and I really like those, but I hate the color, that's fine. Once we get to customizing attire, you can start changing the color of your actual gear itself. So again, ton of customization. Accessories, decals, expressions test as far as emotes and things like that, movement test, field tests, confirm your selection to see how your character moves. We can make it, let's make it salute. So tons of customization options, and that just continues on as you get deeper and deeper into the game. Now we're going to jump onto our Ranger. Notice that you only have 3 character slots. Going back to the whole min-max idea, one character can play every class, and in a lot of cases you will want one character to play every class because you get buffs. Right now the level cap is 75 here in the States, and we only have 3 episodes of the story. So we don't have all the content that's available on the Japanese version of the game. That stuff will come periodically, I am sure. So you do have limitations right now versus the Japanese servers. But as you are progressing, getting a class to max level actually provides buffs to the other classes. So if you're a level 75 Ranger and you have other level 75 classes, your stats as a Ranger will be higher in some regards than the player that just has the 75 Ranger. Everything min-maxes. This is our ship area, kind of our hub, and to get a feel for the game, think about it in terms of like a Path of Exile, a Diablo, those even like a Warframe or a what am I thinking of? Anthem or Destiny, where there's general hub-based areas where you see other players, like on the ship where we're at right now. We're in the gate area of the ship. But when you warp down to the planet in different areas, you'll be taking on missions and things like that in private groups. Parties up to 4, unless you're talking about urgent quests, which run on a specific time schedule, which is available on the game's website. Those would be in a group of 12. That's kind of their raid content. Giving you just a basic tour before we jump down to the planet. And yes, my rocket launcher that I have on my Ranger is a skin that is a bottle of champagne through winning some coins in the casino, which is not in-game currency or real currency. It's its separate currency and leads to skins and XP boosts as prizes, things like that. Nothing essential in there. Our main area here, we start with our class consultant. This is where we are going to unlock our class skills as we level up. or swap classes. Notice I have more than 6 to choose from. Like we saw on the basic screen when we created our character, we've got additional ones, and you can switch right away. Now I'm running Ranger, and at the bottom of the screen you can see that my subclass is Tector. I wanted to be able to use some Resta spells and things like that in the early leveling of the game, so I put a healing type technique user there. One thing I will tell you, not only about skills here on the screen, but also Mags, the little guy flying around next to me, who you will feed weapons and gear and housing items and all that to level him up. You want to be careful, and this is something you definitely want to take a look at a guide for. If you're looking for the most, relevant or meta builds for a particular class, you'll want to find that out before you start feeding your mag things and leveling up the wrong stats, or going into the class consultant and spending your skill points, because generally resetting your mag or resetting your skill points is quickly accomplished via a cash shop item. You can find ways to de-level your mag through items found in game, but they are kind of intensive to grind out, so it's very tempting to just buy the cash shop items. Occasionally you will get a skill reset from Sega when they're running events or when they put an update in, and that one-time freebie slot. But if you aren't paying attention and you misallocate points, you could be hurting yourself as far as having to spend a little cash or commit to some grinding to fix it. For instance, my mag, if you'll look, I accidentally used some items that were in my Founders Pack that I purchased, the Sonic and Tails Founders Pack, and I was trying to use 50 range support ones because I'm a ranger, so I basically want my mag to have nothing but range support, all 200 levels, initially 200 levels. But you can see I ended up with quite a bit of dexterity support, some tech support, and some tech defense support, because I was flipping through the menus too fast. It is a menu-driven game, so fans of Final Fantasy XI will be familiar with how many menus there are here. Different from Final Fantasy XI, the combat is more action-oriented. You do have to aim and things like that. So I've kind of screwed up my mag a little bit. I'll have to fix it, and I don't mind grinding for that a little bit, so that's fine. Over on the other side of the main lobby, we do have our medical staff. You'll want to stop here every time you're about to go out on a mission or an expedition or whatever, because you can buy with Meseta, the in-game currency, of which you can see my total in the upper right. You can buy drinks that influence your boosts. The A that you see, the red A, that's going to be your Arc Coins cash shop stuff. Now, in this case, it's referencing that you can only buy these drinks if you have what they call the premium set, which is basically Phantasy Star Online 2's subscription. It's bought through the cash shop in 30, 60, or 90-day increments. So anything with that red A references some type of cash shop purchase, whether it be purchasing the item directly, or in this case, buying the premium set or the subscription. So I'm going to enhance my attack so that when we go out, we're getting a little bit of a boost. That's awesome. Notice that as we're walking around, we see a lot of people with these blue icons over their head. Now, they won't have them that initially until you complete some initial storyline stuff, but almost all the NPCs in this game have client orders for you, and there's specific things they would like you to go do. Now, some of them will have a reset daily, some will have a weekly reset. The ones here from Hans, you can see that they can be completed as many times as I would like to give me those prizes and rewards and experience. These stack, so although you can only carry a certain amount of them, and you can open up the ability to carry more through different purchases, they do stack. So you could take 2 missions from Hans, grab 2 missions from Fina, all of which are in the forest area, and then head on down to the forest to do the general expedition quest in the forest, and complete all 5 of those at once. Again, it's a guide-type video that you would want to look for. I can't really, go ahead and cover the best leveling strategy here in a first look video. But if you want a little bit of guidance, you can come over here and talk to our handbook guide, who will give you an idea, at least, of how to do that, expediting your XP gain. Beat the daily grind with the daily boost, which can increase the amount of XP you get just by knocking out particular dailies that influence that boost. Client orders, part 1 and 2, double your gains. So there are guides here on how best to move as a new player to make sure you're maximizing things, getting as much experience or as many drops or as much meseta as you can. So take a look at that, and of course online guides will help you even more. Inventory is rather limited to begin with. You only have 50 slots. I have 100 right now on my personal inventory for this specific character because of the Sonic Founders Pack that I bought. But the first tab shows you your entire inventory, and then you can see it by category. So weapons, armor, fashion suits, consumables, discs, which teach you techniques. Those are kind of your magic. They will use photon points, or PP, as you see in the lower left-hand corner of the screen right below my health. Dark ones I can't use, either because I am not level appropriate for them, or because I already know, level 6 positron blast, and so it won't let me use 5. I could feed this to my mag, I could sell it, I could do whatever gives me the most benefit. So I can learn impact slider, and go ahead and get steady shot level 4. Now, some of these may be abilities that I can't use as a ranger. It doesn't matter. Remember, your character can be all classes, so you have the ability to learn all of the techniques, and then if you're equipping subclasses or changing, you would be able to use them because you already know them. The terminal with the cube on it is your personal storage. You can store items in here. Now this, your default storage, again, mine's slightly expanded because I bought the Founders Pack, like my character storage is up to 550. There are parts of your storage that are account bound. So you can toss things back and forth from one character to the next if you opt to create multiple characters, and there are different categories of storing items, temporary storage, character storage, material storage if you do some harvesting, some fishing for your cooking abilities or your crafting abilities to make rings. There are separate storage bins for a lot of that stuff. Why would you want to create multiple characters? Well, that's up to you. You can do things like maybe you don't want to spend money on mag slots, right? You only get one mag as you're leveling. By the way, Coffee is kind of the NPC that gates all of your content. As you're leveling, she'll be the one that gives you the ability to get a mag, to extend your weapon palettes or your sub palettes, open up new difficulties, open up level caps when you get to them. You only get one mag for free. Then you have to buy for cash mag passes. Now, this character can have up to 20 mags, but I would have to pay cash for them. You could roll 3 characters. That way you don't have to buy multiple mags and then just swap. Okay, I want to play Ranger now. I have a mag on my Ranger that I have leveled up with Ranger support. So I'm going to go play that. Then I'm going to jump on my Tector, and I have a mag, my one mag from my Tector, maximized for my Tector. Less than ideal because you're not getting that cross buff for leveling multiple classes, at least not as much, but it's there if you want to. The Visiphone is kind of our personal area. We get our campaign items. For this, I get a login campaign bonus for being an Xbox One beta tester. There are achievements, rankings if you've done any time trials or any of the weekly rankings or alliance rankings for your guild. Your friends' avatars, your own personal shop. This is kind of like your auction house. Think of it maybe in Final Fantasy XI terms, your bazaar. You can go ahead and sell things via that. So that's kind of your own personal storage. And there is a ton of social aspects to this game. For instance, again, I told you fashion is a big part of the game. We can go ahead and do the lookbook where you can register a particular gear set that you have on with an emote, and other people can go and click like on them. You can flip through and click like on other ones, and you'll earn fun coupons, which can be used to do things like weekly or daily scratch-off tickets, which are little kind of loot boxy chances to win things. So there's a lot of social aspects to this. Now, I want to jump down to the planet so that we can do some combat and talk about the menus at the bottom. So I'm just going to pop over to main quests. I'm going to pick an expedition that I haven't done yet just to open it up. We'll go ahead and we'll do the Dragon Altar Exploration. Notice I have multiple difficulties. Now, these expeditions are just to open up the area. I'm going to go explore it, beat a boss at the end of it, and then NPCs throughout the world might give me new client orders specific to that area. Or I might be able to move the main story missions forward. Right now, as I said, we only have 3 episodes. Maybe this particular little cinematic scene or little mini fight or whatever, sometimes it's just a movie, was locked behind exploring a particular zone. Well, I could do that. But then I can also, from Rebecca's screen here, go on my arc quest, my time attack quest, the urgent quests I mentioned earlier, which are specifically scheduled at particular times. But let's go and explore something and talk about combat a little bit. These difficulty ranks, you're going to find that, and I'm going to accept this quest, and I'm going to search on multiple blocks. Think of it as instances of a server. You and your friends would have to coordinate to get onto the same block if you were on ship 1, and you could do that via a little elevator off to the right of Rebecca here. So it's not a big deal. But I have it searching for people that are going to this area for this expedition on all blocks, and it'll just partner me up with them. Why would I want to do that? Again, min-max or paradise. Parties of 2, 3, or 4 get experience and drop rate increases as you have 2, 3, or 4 players in them. So there is definitely a benefit to partying up. When you can't party or your friends aren't on or anything like that, you do have the ability, if you've exchanged arc cards, which is like just a little identifier, and you would refresh it like every time you level up or change gear substantially, you can literally summon NPC versions of some of the NPCs in the game, or NPC versions of your actual friends, and party with them even if they're not online. So there's a lot of neat little social things that you can do in the area here. Now notice that my objective here, since I really just came down to get off of the ship and show you some combat and how you'll be playing, this is the gameplay loop, right? I did not mean to use that telepipe. That sucks. This is the gameplay loop, very Warframe-esque. Warp down, do your thing. These are harvesting spots for you crafters and gatherers. You'll be able to do that. Whoa, that was new. While we're here, though, I might, just like is happening now, get kind of an emergency mission for me to do. And this could be killing certain objectives, escorting somebody, collecting items. Think of them like rifts in Rift or public events in Guild Wars 2. Now they don't have the like repercussions that you might see in Guild Wars 2.
Completed.
Break out of isolation. Okay, all I had to do was jump on a telepad after I killed those creatures, so that wasn't that bad. That's extra free experience. And so feel free, do as many or as little as you want. They are not required by any stretch of the imagination, but they do give you additional experience and chances at additional loot, which is the whole point of the game. That loot cycle is the game for Phantasy Star Online 2, basically. Now, talking about the hotbar at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice there's kind of a centerpiece, which is my weapon abilities. And right now, just pressing X gives me the basic fire for the launcher. You'll notice that when I do, though, a circle appears around me blue and then closes on me as red. What's happening there is if I hit my next ability, as that circle turns red, it will do increased damage. My Y ability for this particular weapon is a much more powerful blast. You can see now this is costing me photon points over on my left, my mana bar, and then through basic attacks and time doing damage, I will gain that back. RB, or the right bumper, since we're playing with left trigger, since we're playing with an Xbox controller, gives me the second set that I can map abilities to if I have techniques available on certain weapons. The hotbar itself, I can map anything to that I want, and just simply pressing left and right on the D-pad to highlight what I want to use, and then clicking the left stick will go ahead and use whatever that is. The first 4 are items. I put a Resta spell in there. This is my Mag's special ability. Now that he's level 100, he can, when his charge meter fills up, which you can see around it, he'll do whatever the Photon Blast I have equipped will do. In this case, it's damage to a target in front. I can click the right stick to kind of go into a semi-first-person mode. It still stays third-person, but it gives me the ability to free aim. This is going to be particularly useful when you're trying to hit objects. So you'll have like a green chest on the ground, and rather than try and fire at it with this mock aim, you can go ahead and fire at it directly. So there you go. Your left bumper would lock on to a target. So if there was one on the screen, here we go. It'll lock on to that target. As I move around, it'll stay locked on. Really useful when you're fighting bigger enemies, because bigger enemies might have... Well, I did not mean to do that either. Multiple target points on them. Take out a leg, get it to fall, opens up a crit spot because their head is now exposed, that type of thing. Or just generally they're more prone to damage on their belly than on their arms. And as a ranger, I can do cool things like making crit points for my party to attack on other monsters through using various techniques that you unlock with the discs through gameplay. Or through skills by upgrading your skill tree through the skill trainer. So lots of very, very cool things that you can do there. Let's try and... I want to get to the boss because some of the boss fights in this game are just fantastic. Now let's talk a little bit about it being older, because to me that has some pros and some cons. Cons, obviously, the first one you probably already noticed, it looks dated, right? The game is 8 years old. And in fact, I've found... I've played both on the Xbox One X in 4K, and right now I'm recording on just a regular Xbox One. It does look quite a shade better on the Xbox One X, as you would imagine, but it's still an 8-year-old game, and the visuals do suffer a bit for that. And in fact, you'll notice that sometimes when we load into an area, if there's a lot going on, the resolution of my actual character might not be full resolution, and they look a little fuzzy sometimes. So there are performance issues with it being an 8-year-old game. There's also the benefit, though, of there being a ton of content here, and we don't even have all of the content that's available in Japan yet, but we'll be getting it. So there's already a ton of content, and a lot of those like early year 1, year 2 bugs are worked out, right? That's not to say that the game is perfect, doesn't have its own bugs, but it's a fair sight better than other launches of brand new games, so you don't have to deal with some of that aggravation. Is the game for you, though? And that's going to be the big question here. I don't know. I have a lot of nostalgia for the Phantasy Star Online franchise and series. I played PSO2 on the Japanese servers, not nearly to the extent that I played PSO1, just because of limitations with some of the community translating, although that group did a phenomenal job and still does to this day. I will be playing it quite a bit here, but does the combination of it being an older game and something that's very system heavy and it's a constant loot cycle, if that's not your type of game, then PSO2 just simply isn't going to be your game. If you like Warframe's loot cycle type gameplay, but for some reason did not like other aspects of Warframe, then maybe you will like Phantasy Star Online 2, and it is worth checking out. Of course, there is the limitation of right now it being strictly on the Xbox One, so if you want to check it out on the PC, you'll have to wait. Now, I do want to swap weapons here just by pressing up and down on my D-pad. I can switch to other weapon slots because I want to do some gameplay now with the assault rifle, which honestly in this particular battle is going to be a little bit better anyway because you really use your assault rifles for single target and then use your launcher for heavy slow damage or AoE targeting. But I wanted to show you this because I wanted to show you that yes, the launcher locks me in place for a lot of abilities because of the time that it takes to use it. But with other weapons or spells, like the assault rifle here, you see that I can move and use abilities at the same time. So it is going to be dependent upon what weapons or techniques you're trying to use on whether you're locked down while you use them in an animation or not. It is not locking you down for every single thing. I'm not doing any gathering here because I don't want to waste my gathering stamina right now. I'm going to be doing some crafting because I need to make some rings later today, and I don't want to buy like a potion to increase my crafting stamina or to replenish my crafting stamina. Got another code emergency. Draconian suppression, and by the time I got to see the requirements, I had already killed all three.
Emergency.
Go me. Where are we going? Up, down to these telepads. Back up.
Emergency. Code. Avoid.
I'm just kind of trying to run through right now to get to the ending so that we can fight the boss here and head on back to the ship. Oh, here's a box. We'll go ahead and blow that up. Pick up some money. One thing I will recommend for new players when you first get in, go ahead, press the kind of options button on the Xbox controller, the one with the 3 lines on it. Head on over to System and go down to Options and take a peek around. There are a lot of options that you might want to turn on or off depending on your preference. Things like picking up Meseta automatically, which I have on because I don't want to sit there and have to click on every single piece of money on the ground. Alerting you to rare drops, you can set some thresholds. So even if it's rare, but it's ultimately not appropriate for your level anymore, you can kind of filter things out to not waste your time with the screen saying rare drop, and it's a rare drop, but it's a rare drop that you're probably not even going to want. So you can do some modification there according to the way you want to play. Right trigger, I guess I should talk about, is a dodge mechanic. So like a little barrel roll there. You'll notice, maybe, let's see when it comes back.
Objective complete.
Yep, objective complete. And, of course, we've got A to jump. All right, I think I'm headed the right way to get to the end here. Gaining experience. Now, I did not, because I'm dumb, I did not activate any type of booster for my experience or for money gains or anything like that before, or rare drop improvements. You get them pretty easily just through gameplay, so you do want to be using them. I will tell you one thing, though. There is a chance when you are doing client orders for various NPCs that you can gain rep with them through doing client orders, and maybe pop a quest that has a chance to warrant to give you a present. Yep, here we go. So while that's cool, I do want to give you a little tip from me to you. Sometimes you will get, as part of quests, or I don't need to recover, I'm full. Experience coupons that might give you 15,000 experience. If you want to use those, fine. That's great. If you happen to be lucky and you get one of the 1 million experience ones, don't use it until you are level 50. I'm sorry. Until you are level 40 and you do your first kind of level break quest from Coffee. Similar to Final Fantasy XI, you will have to break level barriers to continue leveling, and that starts at 40. If you use the coupon prior to that, you will lose out on quite a bit of experience of that million, because it doesn't take a million to get you there. But if you cap at 40 and you've used that coupon, any experience that is remaining from that coupon is just totally wasted. You don't get. Actually, I'm going to switch to my launcher here, because I do want to do more damage, and I've got to move a little bit anyway, so I'm kind of okay with attacks being slower. And right now, see, I'm attacking his wing, but I can cycle through other target points on him, like his head. Okay, we definitely need to heal. And I did that just in time.
I shall slay you.
Perfect. Now we're back on track. Boom. Boom. So yeah, save your 1 million until you break, if you get one of those coupons, save your 1 million until you break the level at level 40.
Assault form, pulverizing charge.
Taking significant damage. As far as voiceover, by the way, almost all of the game has been localized in English, too. So if you want to watch it in English, you can. If you're one of those players like myself that I put it on English for the sake of the first look, but when I play, I usually just leave the Japanese audio on and, oh shit, read subtitles. You can do that as well. Even events like concerts and stuff that are in-game, they have been localized into English too. So quite a bit of work done on that front. Oh my god.
Be reduced to particles.
Ooh.
I shall slay you.
This is the first time I've fought him on this character, and honestly, I don't remember ever fighting this particular one, so I am learning the abilities on the fly.
Supreme Serpent Saber.
Oh.
Fracture in one pulverizing charge.
Notice that like the color changes and stuff when they're taking damage, and some monsters will like lose parts of their body or shields or whatever. Oh, sweet, got it. Oh. Nearly finished. There we go. Clear Dragon Altar exploration. In addition to all the client orders, expeditions, all the different bajillions of quests you'll be doing, there are weekly quests, there are daily quests. Symbol art. Yeah, that's a social thing where you can make text bubbles that appear above you. And honestly, the censoring on it is not very thorough. There may have been some dicks displayed during the concert during closed beta, so have fun with that. You can, somebody else had Zoidberg in one, so lots of social aspects to the game. Anyway, there are weekly and daily missions to do. I've already received and completed some of my daily missions. Feed my mag and complete a daily order, and I will be done with my daily missions, and that will move my weekly mission, which is to complete 15 daily missions, closer to completion. The last thing I want to show you about missions, as if there wasn't enough to do, pressing X on the ARC's mission screen shows you the Mission Pass, which is Phantasy Star Online's Season Pass. Mine came in the Founders Pack, so I have the gold tiers unlocked because of the Founders Pack purchase. Free-to-play players will get just the purple tier, and you can see it expires about a month from now, and there are 30 tiers to go through to pick up all kinds of rewards. You gain tiers just by completing missions, but you do have the option, if for some reason you wanted to, just like most other season passes you're familiar with, to purchase tiers if you want to, using a number of different methods, whether that be cash shop currency or not. Before we part ways here, I do want to show you the cash shop, and again, I have just surface level scratched the hell out of this game. It is a first look video. There's a ton of systems we could literally go into, and we haven't even went to the shopping district or gone to the casino where you can just sit down and play some blackjack, play some slots, have a little fun, earn some casino coins, and then go ahead and buy, boosters or cosmetics like my champagne bottle launcher. So there is a ton of stuff in the game to take advantage of, a lot to do, and there better be. I mean, the game did come out 8 years ago. So our shopping plaza is where we can do things like buy gear or even just upgrade or enhance gear. You'll see plus 11 or plus 4 or whatever, plus 19. You feed gear to enhance its stats, or you can feed it to your mag to enhance its stats. You can identify unidentified gear here. There's the casino down here, so you can go and gamble your heart away if you want. Your crafting cafe is right over here, so you can learn how to harvest fish or do some crafting if you want to, creating rings, which are part of your gear. Your gear only consists of your weapons, and then basically a back piece, a mod piece, or a back piece, an arm piece, and a leg piece, and then 2 skill rings. So there's not a tremendous amount of gear to actually manage as far as what you want to wear, but the grinding and upping this gear, or replacing it and then grinding and making those pieces of gear better, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, that is what the game is all about. And it's a lot of fun, and at the higher levels, you might run some content early and think, damn, this game is easy. When you get there, some of this shit is hard, and your team better know what they're doing. This has been a first look at Phantasy Star Online 2. I'm going to cut it there. Again, so much more to explore. We've just scratched the surface. If you want to check it out, you can on the Xbox One right now. Until next time, gang, this is Magic Man saying, my mag is so hungry. We gotta feed him anyway, right? That gives me a lot of range support. We'll feed him that rifle, and that'll complete a daily quest anyway. So, 2 in 1. This is Magic Man saying stay safe, and we'll see you out on the servers.